single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hey there, Cerise here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, being who you are in this world. Speaking of who you are, do you know who you are? Do you know your purpose, your meaning? Oh, don't be surprised if you don't. A lot of people don't. Actually, many people don't even know what they like or dislike. A lot of people haven't really experienced much in life. Therefore, they don't know what they want. How could they know what they want if not many options were provided for them? Let's say you are somebody who wants to go on vacation, and somebody says to you, well, here's your options. The Dominican Republic, where I'm located now, and it better be one of your top choices, or Cuba, or Puerto Rico, okay? And you never experienced either one, but you've watched some videos, and most of them offer water sports. You like water sports, you know that, because let's say you live in Canada. Well, every summer, you know you love being in the water. So why not get into water sports? You studied all three countries, and you just can't choose the best one. You heard that Cabarete inside of the Dominican Republic has a great surfers beach, the best in the world, but you're not really a surfer. You really just want to go on a boat, party a little bit, perhaps go on a little dinghy, maybe go on a smaller boat and do a tour. You're not really a water sports person, but you do like the water. You don't know what else you like, though, because you've never been on a Caribbean island. Therefore, you have no clue what it is that would be given to you or offered to you. You might have heard the stories, but were they real? Or will that happen to you when you go on the trip? You don't know, because you really can't say if you never experienced it before. And that is what is preventing a lot of people from knowing themselves. Experience, the lack of. A lot of people do the same thing day in and day out. They go to work in the morning, they work all day, they save their money for their wonderful home and their huge mortgage, and then they go home and they rest. In that big house or small house that they pay for to live in, but never get to spend time in. Now, whether it's a big family that you have, or a small family, or none at all, and it's you and your dog, which is still a family. No matter what, you may not even appreciate that place that you're staying in to pay that high mortgage on in 10 years from now. In 10 years from now, it may be something that you will look at and say, why did I buy this? Why did I stay in that job just to keep this place? Why didn't I accept the offer to work online and go work abroad? Why? Well, most times are because you never had the experience of traveling much. Why would you take up the offer from your boss if your boss offered you to go work in China for a long time? You might say, no, I'm comfortable here. But you don't know if you've never been. Sometimes you got to just walk with faith, and you will get to know yourself a lot more. Sometimes you just got to go and try it, test it out like you would a new food. And if you don't like it, you can always turn around and go back where you started. And if it's impossible for you to go back where you started, then make the best of what you have until you get better. You see, when I moved here to the Dominican Republic almost 2 years ago, I decided that I was going to make it a permanent move because I know what I like. I experienced traveling to Cuba, I've experienced traveling around Canada. I knew that for me, a destination would have to have warm weather all year round. Now, don't get me wrong. Every now and again, I do think about going to Alberta hot springs during the winter time and trying that out. But can I really stay in the hot springs all day and all night? Do I like water that much? Not really. I love water, but I don't want to just travel somewhere for water alone. Unless I'm just going to be there for 1 day, 2 days, and leave again. But then again, I'm not that type of traveler. I really do like to settle in for a few days and work my way around a place, get to know the people, taste the food, understand the culture. So going to hot springs for 2 days is really not necessarily my thing. Now, if I'm visiting Canada and I happen to be in Alberta, then I will do it. But it's not something that I'm going to navigate. It's not something I'm going to migrate towards. However, again, the warm weather is something that I adore. Therefore, I moved here. I have a lot of beaches if I choose to do that. But because of my past travels, I now understand what I like. And when I came here to visit the first time and stayed for 2 weeks, I knew that I could come back and make a go of it and even possibly live here. So when I did come back, I came back with the intentions of staying, getting my residencia, buying land, doing business, and stabilizing myself here. Because of my experience in life, I knew that I would like it, and I knew that I could do it. You see, if you don't do much in life except work, save money, and pay for your mortgage, then how do you know yourself very well? You know what you are used to. You know what you are like when it comes to what you're used to. Because let's face it, just because you're used to something, it doesn't mean you like it. But wouldn't you like to put your character into a higher frequency? A person that knows a little bit more. Not necessarily because you were taught from others, but because you took it upon yourself to travel, to maybe pick up a different book and read. Yes, experience is not only travel. Experience is also food, reading, writing, jobs, relationships, getting money, losing money, getting money again. Families can offer experiences. Children can offer you experiences. But if you just stay in your one bubble and you only do what you're used to, how will you know what you really like? How will you know who you really are? Because with experiences, we learn to know ourselves better as well. Oh, yes, we do. We are out of our box. We are treated differently. Perhaps the way we're being treated, we don't like. How do you respond? Do you respond like you usually would inside your box? Or do you respond differently according to your environment? Then, and only then, you will get to know yourself a lot better. When I had a friend come here to visit me in the Dominican Republic, she immediately went back home. She came here with her daughter. Her daughter was 3 at the time, Melissa and Maya. Melissa went back home and she felt relaxed and rested in the fact that she came here in the Dominican Republic with her daughter, went off the resort and lived just like a native would, ate native food. She got so good at it that she was on the moto concho and loving it. I gotta tell you, it took her out of her regular day and gave her not only sunshine, because it was a great 2 weeks that she was here, but also experience for her daughter as well. Her daughter is very smart, Maya, and Maya contacts me on Facebook, often on voice notes, and she often talks about her experience here in the Dominican Republic. She talks about my dog, Noche. She asks about Noche's hair, because I take Noche to the barber, to the beauty salon to get groomed. And because of that, she's had more experience and more knowledge now of life here. And you know what? When she first got here, she didn't like dogs too much at all around her. Only the small ones, she said. Only the small ones are nice. Well, she got to know the big ones here as well, and she fell in love. You know, she was still cautious around the big ones, I won't lie, but she still fell in love. She realized, small or big, a dog is a dog, and a dog is a good friend to have. You know, then I had another friend come here who came here and he stayed with me for a week only during Christmas time and my birthday. And oh my gosh, it was one of the worst experiences for him and also for myself. I didn't have anyone come and visit me and stay with me in my apartment for a week before since I've been here. So it was new for me to have somebody stay with me. Also, I've only seen this friend 2 times before. And the last time I had seen him ever in my life was 2 times. And the last time I had seen him was 4 years ago. So when he was coming, I knew he was safe to stay with me. He's a family friend. So I said, you know, you stay with me because when I visited your place in Canada, you allowed me to stay with you in your basement. So that's fabulous. Let me return the favor. So, and his basement was a nice 1-bedroom apartment where I enjoyed myself thoroughly. So I wanted to repay that favor to him while he was here, which I did. But oh my gosh, I was not prepared to learn the new lesson about myself. And that new lesson was, boy, oh boy, am I patient. Boy, oh boy, do I know how to hold it down for 7 days. But on that 7th day, I was ready to take him up by his shirt and kick him on his bum and send him on his way. No word of a lie. Oh, did he ever complain? He complained about the motoconcho noise. Right up till the 7th day. And at the time, I had a 1-bedroom apartment. Guess who got the bed? Him. By the end of the 7 days, my energy was so depleted that I couldn't even sleep the last night because my B12 deficiency kicked in. You see, I'm not a meat eater by choice. I would prefer to, only flesh I would like to eat is fish and mushrooms. Yes, mushrooms are like flesh for me. I love mushrooms. I think they can hold a flavor so well. And when you put them in with vegetables, other vegetables, oh, do they ever hold the seasoning. It's just like a chunk of meat, like a chunk of chicken, but it's a mushroom. And for me, that's a great piece of flesh. So because I don't eat a lot of meat, B12 is an important part of a person's body, and you can't get it from vegetables. You can only get it from protein. So I started to eat a lot more mussels and clams after that because, believe it or not, you can get the protein, the iron, everything you need from a clam more than you can get from beef. So great runner-up for those of you who don't like meat and particularly beef and you are deficient, check out that little remedy right there. But during that time, I was feeling the crunch. I said to myself, how am I going to deal with this man for even another hour? And then I remembered his flight was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which meant he had to be to the airport for 12 o'clock, which meant he had to be picked up from my apartment at 11 o'clock in the morning. So in the wee hours of the morning, I started to pray that the morning would pass by quickly and the early afternoon would come really fast. But then during my prayers, I realized, Cerise, you're being selfish. Why would I rush the morning? Why would I rush it? There are people who are waiting for it to pass by slowly because it may be their day off. It may be their only time with their loved ones. Perhaps they're dying and they need the time to be stretched. Whatever the case is, at that moment I realized something about myself through that experience. And that is, don't have people stay with me for 7 days. And that is the truth. But the other thing that I learned was try to have more understanding with other people and what their likes and dislikes are. That man that came to stay with me, he was learning something new about himself. At that time, he was learning that he does not like the sound of motoconchos at night. Motoconchos are people who drive motorcycles as a taxi service. And at the time where I lived, it was a busy taxi corner. And my bedroom was pretty much right on the street. So, and I gave him the bedroom. So he was getting a lot of that noise. When I offered him the couch, he said, no, that's okay, because the bed is comfortable. And so he learned how to deal with it, especially on the fourth day when I said to him, why don't you put some earplugs in? If you don't, I'm going to have to do that because I'm a little tired of hearing about your complaint of the motoconcho. And he laughed and I laughed, but I knew he was seriously disliking the noise because I was seriously disliking the complaining. But again, on the fourth day, when I told him that, I knew I only had 3 more days left. And every day I was learning something new about myself. By the 7th day, through all of that experience, I learned, again, not to have someone in my house for 7 days. That's serious. But also to, when they are in my house for 7 days straight, I need a little bit of me time. I need to escape them for a little while. I need them to go for an excursion. I need them to be on their own, to do their own thing, so I can go do my own thing as well. I'm not in retirement here. I'm working and I'm always running retreats. I'm always finding people apartments, and there's always something that I'm doing to help people become more settled in their life and also with their relocation here in the Dominican Republic. So I learned about that a lot during that week, that I need my peace too. So that was through experience. If I didn't have him come stay with me for 1 week, how would I know what I like about a house guest or not? How would I know about putting myself out of comfort and how it would affect me? How would I know? Only through experience. So I encourage you as well, you at home, thinking about getting your passport, thinking about changing your life, thinking about doing those things that you keep putting on hold. It could be going to the gym. It could be taking a walk every morning. Even a walk outside your door to the grocery store can get you more experience. It can teach you more about what you like and what you don't like, who you are, what meaning you represent to the world, and what your purpose is. Just a little walk can do that, because you may meet somebody who could come into your life and alter your life so magnificently. That could be for the good, or it could be for the bad. But they could change it so profoundly that you would thank your lucky stars for leaving your house that day and taking that walk that you've been promising yourself to do. You see, so it could be so simple. Or it could be what I did. Pick up and move to another country because you like the weather and you love the people. And the food is just as good. The atmosphere is wonderful. Do your studies if you work online, especially if you work online or you're retired and you are feeling so unsettled when you should be relaxed because, hey, look, you work online. You don't have to wake up every day, go to a boss, go be around other co-workers with their energies and their mentalities that may not vibrate at the level yours does. You know, you are fortunate you get to stay at home and work. But it could be that you're still feeling unfulfilled because you're not getting that human interaction that you would like to have a little bit of. Maybe you don't go outside much because you live in a condominium that's a skyscraper. Or perhaps you live in a house that's in the countryside and you don't make it to the city much. Make a change. Check out different places to live. Go live in a different country for a month. Stay in Cuba for 30 days. Go to Thailand for 30 days. Get yourself an Airbnb. It's so easy. And there are a lot of foreigner-friendly places. Here in the Dominican Republic, there's a great, huge expat community. Not only where I live in the North Coast, but also on the South Coast. There are expats in the Philippines, Panama, all over the world, Costa Rica, Canada. You can definitely go and enjoy your life, live your life, even if you are on a limited income and you are on a pension and you still want to travel because you still are healthy. Then look for the last minute sales. Look for the places that are really, really inexpensive. Get yourself a cheap flight. Forget the resorts. The resorts are costly. Get yourself a cheap flight for a couple of $100 and then get yourself into an apartment here for $300 a month. You're good. With that, you can get fully furnished, cable, Wi-Fi, and electricity you may have to pay extra. Yes, you may have to book a few months ahead of time for your Airbnb. You may have to get the good deals if you're looking to come in high season, but you need to jump out of your box and figure out when the high season prices start, when the good plane deals start, and then get your good deal with your good accommodations at the same time. Just keep in mind, if you're coming to a tropical country, usually the high season, the most expensive season, is between October and May. Then everything seems to go down. High season in Canada is just the opposite. Okay? So, I have to tell you, increase your experiences. Do something with your life today in order to make change today. Yes, change will happen immediately. Perhaps not a transformation, but change will absolutely change your life as soon as you accept it into your thinking. 100%. So, if you want a better life, if you want more meaning in your world, then you need to increase your experiences. And whether that is traveling, whether that is reaching out and loving someone, whether that is going on a dating site and getting a membership and putting up your profile, doing something different is getting you more experiences. And that will help you to understand who you are and what you represent. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Cerise, and this is an invite to you. If you're coming to the Dominican Republic, I would love to have a meet and greet with you. I provide consultations, and we can sit down and we can talk about your relocation. Or if you're good with that, then we can also talk about your who, what, when, where, why, and how. Your life. The sessions are an hour, and we will sit down anywhere you like, on a beachfront, at a beautiful cafe, also at a cafeteria. There are so many places, but you just name it, and we will meet. In the meantime, gain your experiences. In the meantime, figure out who you are through your experiences. And once you know who you are, you will know your purpose. Thank you for joining me.